Yo, what's up guys, it's your boy Sami here. Today we are gonna see, what if Naruto had the power of Phoenix, part 9. Hope you'll enjoy this video. So before we start, please subscribe to our channel, and like this video. So let's get into the video. Hish thought for a moment, and Shikamaru asked why we got 2 contracts with Naruto. Naruto looked at him, and said there is a reason for that. Though I said that it was awarded to the Nara clan, it was actually awarded to you Shikamaru. You may have not known it, but a man came, and challenged you to a game of Go, and Shogi back to back one day. That man was actually the head summon for the golems. After you impressed him with your ick, he wanted to give you the contract, but they cannot be just given to people. They have to be given by another human who has their blessings. Hish asked why. Why did you bring all this info about my clan to my attention? You could have just made the same deal with my clan, as you are with the others that are here. Looking at Naruto. Naruto sighed, and said, you all heard me try on several times to tell you about Uchiha Madara, right? Well, I also mentioned that he is trying to free his boss, the 10-tailed demon. What I have not told you is to do what is required for him to capture the creatures that sealed him in the statue he is in. In other words, he must capture the other 9-tailed demons. With me absorbing Kyuubi, he can no longer achieve this, but he could still go after the other 8 demons, and still destroy the world. In order to stop him, I have been working in the background for a while. He currently has 3 demons he can use. They had not been sealed in a child like the others. Ino asked why would a demon need to be sealed in a child, and what did you mean earlier when you said your father sealed Kyuubi in you? We were told he was killed. Arashi said that was a lie to protect Naruto because of the hate of the village. Yes, I know everything. Naruto showed me his life, so I know most of what has happened, and I am not pleased. I told the village to see him as a hero. They did not. Anyways, the reason it has to be a child. Gaara interrupted him, and said an infant is the only one that can grow with the demon's power, and not be destroyed by it. But it also has to have the proper seal. Making everyone look at him. Naruto smiled, and said thanks Gaara. Yes, the other demons were sealed in a child. The only ones Madara could find now are in this room. Me being the Kyuubi, which I no longer have, and Shikaku, which is in Gaara here. Making everyone flinch. Hish said, you still have not answered my question, Naruto. Naruto nodded, and said the reason I did this for you Hish, and the reason why Madara can't find the others are one and the same. I told you all how I made a lot of money. I bought an island that is hidden from the rest of the world, and only a handful even know about. I put the other children there under the protection of some trusted friends. One of those friends is a Hyuga named Borlus. Yes Hish, you know of no such Hyuga. The reason why is because his mother was captured during the last war, and she was pregnant at the time. Luckily she was a branch member, and also a sealing expert, so when she had him, she quickly put a cage seal on him, and with the help of someone she befriended he was allowed to escape. He grew up learning your family's style of taijutsu from a scroll, and created several variations on it. I came across him on my travels. He lived in the mountains in a cabin he built, and I asked him to return to Konoha to be with the rest of his family. He said he did not want to live in a village because of the evils he saw in his life. I respected that, and I trained with him for a while. I had already begun getting the vessels at that point, and I knew that they needed someone to help watch them, and protect them even though most are teenagers, a few are still children under the age of 10. They were all hated in their villages like I was, so I asked him to protect them for me. He agreed, and he is currently living a nice life on that island. The only thing he asked for me in return is for me to try and unify his family. The scroll he had learned from also had his mother's journal sealed into it, and after reading it, he wanted one house under one family. I agreed to do what I could, and so here we are. Hish thought about what he heard, and said I believe you. You have shown too much proof with the new confidence from Hinata, as well as her chakra being more stable now. I noticed it earlier, when you had me look outside. You said Hanabi has it on her, as well. Naruto nodded, and said yes, though hers has not been activated, so I can't remove it until it does. From what I learned, they were waiting until Hinata became a branch member before they activated hers. What the hell? Gaara's eyes were big, and he looked at Naruto, and both nodded before one disappeared in a swirl of sand, and one in a swirl of flames. Hish looked around, and asked what happened. Gaara appeared, and said, get to the south side of the village now, we're under attack. Danzo and Root have joined with the Sound Village ninjas, and are attacking the village. And left in a swirl of sand. Arashi stood, and said to Genins, you are not ready for this. Explore the house, Rin, stay, and make sure they're comfortable and protected. Everyone else, follow me, and grab weapons, and let's go. We got a war to stop. And he led the others toward a training room that had weapons sealed. They got supplies, and left to the south to fight. While that was happening, Naruto had Kyuubi out, and was taking the fight to the enemies. After sending Gaara back to get help, he started fighting. He had already removed his sword, and created 10 Kagebunshin to help, as he charged. It looked like after Danzo learned of his partner Orochimaru's death, he took immediate actions, and started an attack on the village himself. Naruto sliced that was heading at him with his sword, as he ducked under a right hook. Suddenly the area was covered in a thick fog, and Naruto asked what the hell took you so long. Laughter could be heard, and a female voice said while the laughing was going on, "Sorry Narutoken, Zabuza was torturing a poor asshole who tried to grab my ass." Zabuza stopped laughing, and said, "So what's the story, kid?" Naruto sliced the head of an nin who could not detect chakra, and said Danzo must have heard I killed Orochimaru, and seized control of his army, en route avenue to attack the village. Just look for the northeast on their mask, and you know they are okay to kill. Zabuza said 22, what about you kid? Naruto sliced one from groin to neck, and said 29. The scream of my flames of youth are diminished. I have only killed 20. Haku said I am at 19. The new voice said, can we restart counting since we just got here? Naruto chuckled, and said sorry dad, but if we did that you would use Hiraishin. Arashi sighed, as he flung toward a group of people heading toward the village walls, and said well, aren't you using flash step? Naruto said no, right now I am using silent killing. The voice that sounded aggravated said what the hell do you mean silent killing? You are all weak idiots. We can hear you all, and you can quit trying to be all badass. Zabuza stopped the fog, and when it cleared the guy who said that was standing in the middle of a group of dead of about 80 bodies, and on his right was Naruto with his sword pointing at the guy's heart, on his left was Zabuza with his sword at the guy's neck. And Haku was in behind him with the at his temple, making everyone who stopped and looked at the carnage sweat drop, and think the same thing the guy in the middle was thinking. I am so screwed, as he fainted. Bar's voice said 51. Naruto sweat dropped and looked at his future brother-in-law to the far right and saw one of Gar's new attacks, the sand ring coming away from a large group on ninja necks. It puts a choker collar around the person's neck and suffocates them. He no longer had to use the large wave of sands or a lot of it to kill now that he could control it right with a proper seal. Naruto then looked over at the 300 remaining nins. He looked back around the field. He heard around 30 people dead in a circle around him. Kakashi had about 27, as he and Guy were back to back, and Guy had about 27 also. He then looked, and saw the third had about 20 dead beside him, with Enma in staff form. The Inoshikacho group had around 30 around them dead. Hana and her mother had about 15 around them with their dogs in a defensive position. Arashi had 25 dead, and several Hiraishin kunai on the ground. Benko had her snakes retracting from the neck of a guy with about 14 around her, and Kurenai had 7 by her, as she removed them from the neck of the one she had in, as he fell to the ground dead. Baki and Hyatt had about 40 around them, both with their swords out. It looked like the leaf had acted quickly, and taken out several. Naruto saw a few Agnew, and a dead one. He looked, and did not see any, and Genin, and figured the third had them protecting the villagers. Clapping could be heard, and everyone turned, and looked at Danzo, as he walked to the front of the group with 50 root members beside him. He said I knew we should have made you a weapon boy. He then turned and looked at the third and said, your days in power are over. The third said you are wrong Danzo. Suddenly several people appeared beside Danzo, and Naruto narrowed his eyes and saw the third former teammate, and one of them said, we of the council feel that because of your actions not letting us kill him when he was younger, he has become too much of a threat. Today's action with him killing Orochimaru is proof that he is too strong, and the demon must be in control. We are eliminating Sarutobi and instating Danzo as the new Hokage. Arashi stepped up and said really, what gives you that power, making both of them pale, not noticing the Yondaime back alive, and here. Chuckles could be heard, and everyone turned to Naruto, and Naruto looked at the third, and said by the laws of the village, what they just did is treason, Hokage-sama. They forfeit their rights, as citizens of Konoha the moment they sided with another village against our own. What are your orders? Making everyone who did not know who was in charge know then. The third said it pains me to say this, but the punishment for this is death. Leave now or I will be forced to. He was interrupted, as Danzo said shut up you old asshole. You're too old and weak to protect this village. Sia, kill the Hokage from Naruto made everyone stop, and Naruto flicked his sword to get the blood off of it, and he pointed the blade reversed, and chakra began to gather around it. 9 energy trails circled it. Everyone was wondering what he was doing. Jiraiya and Tsunade both arrived and looked at the carnage. They had been in a hot spring on the other side of town drinking together, and only noticed the battle when they felt the chakra spikes, so they had to get dressed before coming. Naruto lowered his head and said I am sorry for what I must do now. I know you wanted to spare them Hokage-sama, but Danzo just signed him when he ordered his men to kill you. The Leaf Village was built with the help of the great clans like mine, and the others that are here. We allowed the villagers to build, and we became a village that prospered like no other. Danzo, the only ones who could have been spared were you, the former council members, and your root officers. The nins behind you are an attacking army, and they are not retreating when given the chance, thus forcing us to kill them, but I will allow them to leave along with you when I stop my Kai. If after 1 minute no one leaves I will protect not only the Hokage and everyone here, but the village behind me. You stand as much of a chance against me as a snowball in hell. Your choice. And he dropped the Kai, never looking up. Everyone was stunned by what happened, and the third looked at Naruto and said thank you Naruto. Even after they order my death you still would let them leave, so I see you truly don't want to kill them. It's in their hands now. If they don't retreat at the end of the time limit, I give you permission to stop them. Listen to me, everyone. Only defend yourself and others. Let Naruto protect this village. No one interferes. As he lowered his head, Naruto nodded slightly and said, I won't kill them, but they will never be able to fight against old men if that's any consolation. I promise. The third smiled a small smile, and she looked on and said, Hokage-sama, you don't mean that you will let a genin fight all of them? Even one, as skilled as he appears to be, can't fight nearly 400 men by himself. Arashi smiled a small smile and said, Hish, I will tell you something I learned from my son's memories he gave me. He hates killing more than anything. The only time he kills is when he is protecting something that is precious, whenever someone is in need, and whenever someone refuses to stop fighting. You remember the lesson on the spirit of fire the Leaf Village was founded on. To protect that which is precious to you, even at the cost of your own life. Naruto is doing that now. Even though I want to kill Danzo for what he just did, I won't interfere. To Naruto, the third is like a grandfather, just like Jiraiya is. He promised not to kill them, and he never breaks a promise. Naruto said 30 seconds left. Run, and don't come back. Everyone could hear the sadness in his voice. They all looked at him, and saw a few tears going down his face. Danzo started to laugh, and said, kill them all, except the red-headed boy, and the Kyuubi brat. As per our agreement, Itachi. Two figures landed beside Danzo, and Itachi and Kisame appeared, and they both nodded, and Itachi said, yes, we will deal with the Kyuubi and Shikaku. Several people flinched, as laughter could be heard, and Naruto said, when this is over, no one kills Itachi. Since Sasuke is sterile and can't produce heirs, we just had the only other option to walk into the village. His head still looking at the ground. Kakashi looked on, and said, Arashi-sensei, Hokage-sama, Naruto can beat Itachi and these men. It's suicide. Looking scared. Zabuza looked on, and said, hey kid, leave the shark alone. I want him. Naruto smiled a small smile, and said, if you die I will protect Haku for you. Haku flinched, as Zabuza said, I know kid, I know, but me and Kasami have an old score to settle. Naruto said, time's up. Roars for me Kyuubi. And suddenly disappeared. Time seemed to stand still, as everyone looked around. Suddenly he appeared back where he was a few seconds before, except he was facing the other way, and was on one knee, and Danzo asked what was. Several shouts and screams of pain were heard from behind him, and he turned and saw all of his men and the army behind him falling to the ground. He turned back and screamed, what did you do, you monster? Naruto rose from his knees and sheathed his sword and said, I cut their spinal cords. They are all permanently paralyzed, still with his back to Danzo. He turned with his eyes closed and said, Hokage-sama, Danzo and your teammates are to do with what you want. The paralyzing poison I put in them should hit any moment. They can still move and fight after healed. Asuma dropped his cigarette and asked, how did you do that, Naruto? Naruto said, my flash step allows me to move 10 times faster than the Hiraishin. It is the ultimate. Now Itachi, since you and I both know you can't beat me in speed, since your Sharingan could not track me, and my ninjutsu level is beyond yours, as well. Let's have a battle of the minds, shall we? For the next 72 hours. Opening his eyes and locking them with Itachi, except Naruto was changed to the one he designed. Idachus have already been changed into the final level, so when they both locked eyes they both got control. Everyone wondered what was going on except Naruto and Itachi. Suddenly a cut appeared on Itachi's arm, as blood flew down, and Naruto had one on his cheek. Kurenai ran over, and was about to touch Naruto when a wall of sand stopped her, and she looked at Gar, and he said, don't. He told me about this. They are in the world of the Sharingan fighting, except what happens to you in there happen out here. If you touch his body you will receive the same wounds he gets. Just watch. She nodded slowly. Zabuza looked at Kasami, and said, shall we? And they both left in a swirl of mist. A few moments before Naruto and Itachi appeared in the world of the Sharingan, Itachi was first surprised, but then Naruto said, welcome. In this world the laws of nature don't apply, right, so let's begin. And charged at Itachi with a. Itachi pulled one out and charged Naruto. Naruto ducked the Itachi slice and cut Itachi on the arm. However, a moment later a cut appeared on Naruto's face, and Itachi looked at him and said, I see what you mean. I thought of using wind manipulation on my weapon, and it actually worked, even though I don't have a wind element. Let's begin. And they both blurred out of resistance. Note, the following are as follows. Bold are from Naruto, and regular are Itachi. Ikamitachi no Jutsu, Great Cutting Whirlwind Technique. Kaden. Kakaku no Jutsu, Fire Release. Great Fireball Technique. They both launch, and Naruto flash steps away. Tsuyuda no Jutsu, Water Release. Water Dragon Bullet Technique. Doten, Daryuhaki, Earth Release Wall. Itachi jumps, and blocks a kunai Naruto throws in the shadow of the bullets. Doten. Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu, Earth Release. Double Suicide Decapitation Technique. Itachi jumps to avoid the hands that appeared under him, and sends both at Naruto. Fuden. Tatapa, Wind Release. Great Breakthrough. Fuden. Rinkuden, Wind Release. Drilling Air Bullet. Naruto sees the attacks and blocks with Power no Jutsu, Ice Prison Technique, and then creates Gauge Bunshin no Jutsu, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Itachi throws a shuriken and does to kill the clones. Gauge Shuriken no Jutsu, Shadow Shuriken Technique. Naruto does to stop the shurikens. Kamitachi no Jutsu, Cutting Whirlwind Technique. Itachi send these at Naruto through the wind attack. Kaden. Hausenka no Jutsu, Fire Style Art of the Phoenix Flower, Itachi me not. After dodging the attack, Naruto and Itachi both do. Kaden. Kiryu Ending, Fire Release. Fire Dragon Flame Bullet. Kaden. Ryuka no Jutsu, Fire Release. Dragon Fire Technique. As the last two attacks cancel each other out, and both of them were panting, Itachi said, "It's time we end this." The voice filled the area and said 71 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds left. Itachi blinks, and suddenly the Naruto in front of him does some hand signs and slams his hands into the ground and said Mokuten Hijutsu. Jukai Koten, Wood Release Secret Technique. Birth of Dense Woodland. Itachi tries to use it, but nothing happens. He tries another, and another, and another, and still nothing happens. He asks what happened. Naruto walked over and looked at the cage Itachi was now in and waved his hand, and Itachi saw the world outside, but he was still inside the cage. Naruto said, "Inside here the power of the mind is absolute, Itachi. As you know, this stops all demonic chakra. However, what you may not know is thanks to this being a Sharingan world, and that the Sharingan is from the Kyuubi that stops your power. You can't think to weaken it or free yourself, because the moment you were trapped you lost all control in this world. You are trapped in your own mind now and forever. You can see the world, but you are nothing but a living corpse. Unable to talk, unable to move, unable to taunt your brother. You can feel what happens to you, but you won't be able to do anything. Now since your brother can't have kids, your body will be used to continue the Sharingan. Well, your little brother can't touch you, because the council cares so much about bloodlines they won't let him kill you. I get revenge on both of you that way. Enjoy." And he faded away, leaving a scared Itachi. As soon as Naruto faded, he appeared back in his body and fell down toward the ground, only to be caught by a girl who appeared out of a sheet of ice in front of him as she lowered him to the ground. He smiled as the Hokage walked over and he asked Naruto, "Are you okay, Naruto?" Naruto sighed and said, "Just tired." Itachi is a prisoner in his own mind now. He can't do anything anymore, so you can restore the Uchiha clan with his body. "Dad, Kakashi, can you both make sure Zabuza is okay? And Dad, get the ring off of Itachi's hand and kiss him if he dies as well. I gotta destroy them. Nighty night." And he closed his eyes and fell asleep. Danzo, who was paralyzed except for his mouth, said, "Sai, kill that boy now." The black and white ink tiger charged at Naruto and was about to pounce on him when Anko and Kurenai both appeared in front of him, only to receive a claw on the side as he passed them, but nothing serious. A wall of sand appeared and blocked the tiger before crushing down on it, destroying it. Haku stood up and looked around and saw a boy in a tree with a paintbrush, and she formed an ice mirror and stepped into it before it melted. Sai looked around and felt frost on his shoulders as he turned to look and paled when a woman encased in a thin layer of ice where you could not see the person inside appeared behind him. She held up her hand and breathed on it, and the ice started to entrap him, and he blinked and snapped her finger, and suddenly the ice around him shattered, and he felt his body scream out to him in pain, as every bone was broken that was in ice. He looked at her and asked, "Is this pain?" She smiled and said, "Yes. You are the first person to ever see and live past my ultimate ice-style Shiva. Because of the amount of chakra it cost, I promised to only use it under one condition. I know, but I always thought Haku would make it baddest looking Shiva. I don't own Final Fantasy," as the ice started to melt, and then you could see Haku as she fell to the ground below, only to be caught by a snake that appeared out of the ground. It led her over and set her on the ground next to a panting Anko who was holding her side, as was Kurenai. Suddenly a huge wave of water came flooding into the area, and Zabuza was riding his sword like a surfboard, as it was stopped by a huge tidal wave of sand, which made Zabuza fly off his sword and into the air. Guy jumped into the air and caught Zabuza and asked what happened to my youthful friend. Zabuza said, "That sucked. We both went to the lake over there, and both used one attack, and one attack only, like when we were in the Seven Swordsmen. We both created a huge tidal wave and sent it against each other, and I lost and had to ride my sword or be killed by the wave. You know the rest. What happened here?" Kakashi, who appeared next to Arashi from the direction the wave came from, said Naruto beat Itachi and is now a prisoner in his own mind. Denko said Danzo ordered the kid in the tree to kill Naruto, and Haku used some weird ice attack to make herself a goddess of ice and attack the kid. Zabuza looked at Haku, who was blushing, and started to chuckle and then laugh, and he said, "You know they will kill you, right?" Kurenai, who had Tsunade start healing her wounds, asked, "What do you mean by that, Zabuza? Who is going to kill Haku?" Zabuza said Haku promised that the only time she would ever use that is whenever she had to defend someone. He stopped as a wave of Kai came off of Haku, and she said, "They don't need to know that, Zabuza. Zabuza chuckled even more, as he blasted her with his own kai, and said, Haku, you may be my adopted daughter, but, as your father I can tell anyone I want you love. Don't think I don't know about your fantasy of being with him, and his fiancées. The walls in our apartment are not thick enough to stop the muffled cries of Narukin, Chan, and Chan with an evil grin on his face at the look Haku had on hers. She had 2 thoughts on her mind right then. 1 killed her father, and 2 died from embarrassment. Enko and Kurenai were both shocked and looked at each other, and then down at the blushing girl who was trying to push deeper into Enko's lap from the embarrassment. Just then a figure landed, and it was Sasuke, and he looked and saw his brother, and went into a rage, and pulled out a kunai, and charged only for someone to grab his arm, and a voice said stop. Sasuke was enraged, and said let me go you son of a whore, I will kill you, and your damn family you cocksucking asshole. If you don't let me go I will kill you, and your whole family you insignificant little shit. Let me go. Can't you tell I'm an Uchiha, and I have to kill my brother or your parents so much of inbreeders that you can't even tell when your superiors are in front of you? If so then your children should be put to death at birth. Before he tried to stab the man in the heart with a keyword tried. The man who was holding him was Arashi Kazama. Suddenly a shitload of kai hit Sasuke making him hit the ground unable to breathe. He blinked, and looked up, and paled at the sight of the man he just tried to kill. The Yondaime Hokage of Konoha. Suddenly another person appeared on his right blasting even more kai. Sunyu was there, and she looked down at him, and said, did you just call me a whore? Another figure appeared blasting kai, and it was Jiraiya, and he looked at Sasuke, and said I'm breeders. I know we are not like that. The woman appeared next to them, and said, and you think my son should be put to death at birth? Blasting more kai than all of them died. I had to use this, as it was just too good of an opportunity to not use. I don't own Star Wars. In a galaxy far far away a figure sitting in a tower with a wooden cane gasps, and a figure walks up beside him, and asks what's wrong Master Yoda. Yoda said pain, lots, and lots of pain. On the same planet another figure looks toward the sky, and a figure beside him asks what is it Master? The figure said a great evil is being unleashed on the universe Darth Maul. Someone is about to meet the true power of the dark side. On a droid command ship above the planet Naboo several light years away from Yoda, a figure said I sense a great disturbance in the Force Master. Back with Sasuke. Itachi watches in fear for his little brother, as the wrath that is about to befall him, and he whispers I'm sorry. Sun picked him up, and threw Sasuke into the air. Rin jumped in the air, and clawed both his arms. Arashi appeared behind Sasuke, and stuck a Hiraishin kunai in his ass. Kurenai cast it to make his sense of touch heightened. Enko sent snakes out of her hands, and they bit into his legs. Haku pierced his ears with, Tsunade summoned Kasaya, and used her as a springboard to kick him higher into the air. Jiraiya summons Gambunta, and had the Toad Boss spit oil into the air which he ignited. Gar used his sand to hurl Sasuke back toward the planet. Tamari, who arrived with the other Jennings just in time to hear what Sasuke said, used her fan to increase his speed. Kiba and Han both jumped into the air, and clawed his legs, as he fell, and bounced off the ground only for a tidal wave to catch him, and swirl him into a vortex, and Haku froze the water around him. King Kuro sent a crow in, and planted explosive tags around the human popsicle, and had them explode. Hinata walked over, and used the Haki Rocky Joy Anshu, 8 trigrams 64 palms, on him, and made him full, making several people raise their eyebrows. Nietzsche after reading the note from his father, and everything he heard tonight decided since he already hated Uchiha, he would take out some frustration, and use a Kaiten to fling him into the air. Surprisingly the only person who felt sorry for him was the one who caught him. Sakura. Naruto groaned awake while this was going on, and asked Kakashi what happened. After Kakashi told him he waited until Sakura landed, and walked over, and said guess what Sasuke? Since you can't have kids I was going to kill him, but since I knew you wanted to restore your clan, I captured your brother for you, so that way you can restore your clan. Isn't that great with a smile on his face? Tora walked up, and looked at Sasuke before turning around, lifting her tail, and kicking dirt on him before she ran off. End of Sasuke abuse. The third finally got over his shock of the stupidity of Sasuke, as well as what happened, and walked over, and cleared his throat, and said okay everyone, good job, and thank you for dealing with this problem quickly. I will have someone take the wounded to the hospital, and get Abnu to clean this mess up. Dismiss. Everyone started to leave, and Naruto sighed, and stopped in mid-step, and Rin saw this, and asked what's wrong son? Naruto groaned, and fell face first again to the dirt. Tsunade ran over to him, and started to do a medical, as several others started to surround him, and he asked what's wrong. Tsunade finished her scan, and said his body is in shock from chakra exhaustion, again. Arashi looked at his son, and said come on, let's get you some rest. As I picked him up, and left in a swirl of leaves. The next day Naruto had something that would live in his memory forever happen. He had not awoken until about 1 PM, because of not using Kyuubi to restore his chakra, and had to do it with rest. He got up, and went to town to eat. As he walked through the village he was stopped by an Abnu who informed him to go to the council chambers immediately. Naruto sighed, and nodded before flame shushing to the council chambers. When he got there he saw all of the council seats were already full, and Arashi, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Rin had all of the council seats, but one for his family, so he walked up to it, sat down, and started to look around. The third walked in a moment later, and took his seat, as the Hokage, and said thank you all for coming on such short notice. As you all are aware we have Arashi Kazama back with us, and I wanted to inform you that it is because of the deal the Death God made with his son, when he took Kyuubi's soul away. That's right, he has successfully absorbed all of Kyuubi's powers now. Now that explains how Arashi alive. I would also like to inform you that yesterday Orochimaru was killed by Naruto Kazama. Making everyone wide-eyed at hearing a genin that could do that, but after seeing him in battle it's no wonder. The third cleared his throat, and got everyone's attention, and said I would also like to inform you that last night he also captured Itachi Uchiha, and killed an S-class missing nin named Zetsu. Because of his proven abilities I would like to call for a vote to have Naruto automatically advance in rank to special. Hish stood up, and said pardon my interruptions Hokage-sama, but based on what was discussed with the private meeting yesterday with Naruto, I would like to have him move to Sannin level, since he not only eliminated the snake Sannin, he has also showed me proof of conspiracy in my own clan that I had taken care of after the battles last night. As of this morning all branch members of my clan are having their seals removed. The Hyuga Council has also been eliminated, and it is all thanks to his spy network. I have also heard from my daughter and nephew about Naruto's reputation outside of this village, sir. The third raised his eyebrows, and a civilian council member asked, what reputation is that of Hish? Naruto sighed, and said Iwa has already issued a flee-on-sight order when confronting me, and labeled me as an SS rank shinobi, before I was even a genin because of my advanced duration, that I call Flash Step. I took out 40 when they tried to assassinate my family in the past few years. They call me the second Flash of Death. Miss has also put me, as an S-rank shinobi, and posted a bounty on my head, and they have 2 names for me, I am informed. They call me Sexy Blonde because I created a pervert that knocked out 1,000 of their ninja when they tried to enslave a village in Rain, because of that incident, called me a music man, and Mist also started calling me the Butcher of the Wave for killing some of their chunins when me and my team went there, as bodyguards. Like it was nothing while everyone's eyes in the room were as big as silver dollars. Naruto looked around the room and asked what? It's no big deal. As everyone's face folded. After regaining his composure, the third said well, I agree with his idea. Does anyone have any objections? Naruto said pardon me Hokage, but what exactly would I have to do if I was given the rank of Sannin? The third said well you have free leave at any time, as long as you check in with me every 6 months, and also you will be responsible, as leader of our ninja on any battlefield you are on, unless I or one of the other Sannins are present. Naruto closed his eyes, and pondered for a moment, and said before you vote on this I have a request that I believe would be in everyone's best interest. Inoichi asked, and what would that be, Naruto? Naruto said I request at least 75% of all, and approve of this decision also. This village has several candidates that could just as easily be given this title than me. If I am going to have to be a leader of these men in battle I would need their respect. If I don't they won't follow my orders or go against them, and that could cost lives. Everyone was stunned, and a few had smiles on their faces, and Inara had said I agree with Naruto's request. By making that request he shows that he understands the responsibility he will be required to take. I say that we should send out some Abnu, and have them request a vote while we discuss the Uchiha matters. The third nodded, and sent the Abnu out, and said okay, since we are waiting on what is to be done about the Uchiha matter. The civilian said, we should kill Itachi. We already have Sasuke. Naruto said, it's not possible. This brought murmurs around the room, and the third said I am afraid Naruto is right. It was discovered that Sasuke is sterile so he can never pass on the Sharingan. If Naruto had not captured, and made Itachi a doll basically we would have lost the Sharingan forever. This brought the attention of all those who had not already been informed. Naruto sat quietly, and said I say we request 15 volunteers of the females of the village, to be artificially impregnated by a medical worker, so that we can breed the Sharingan. But the volunteers would have to pass certain classifications. Everyone was looking at him, and the third said, what do you have in mind, Naruto? I don't have a problem with the volunteers, but why the classifications? Naruto thought for a moment, and said I did some research when preparing to kill the 2 Uchihas. This brought several shouts from the room in outrage, and the third slammed his fist against the table getting everyone's attention, and the third said Naruto, explain for those who don't know what you are referring to. In a commanding tone. A civilian screamed he wants to kill Itachi and Sasuke. Naruto smiled, and said who said I was referring to those 2 Uchihas. Getting several confused looks. Another civilian said then who are you referring to if you don't mean Sasuke or Itachi? They're the only 2 Uchihas left. Naruto said that is where you are all mistaken. Currently there are Sasuke, Itachi, Uchiha Ibito who was on my father's team, and died on a mission, but was brought back to life by a forbidden kenjutsu, and the first Uchiha, Uchiha Madara. The last 2 are the ones I plan to kill. Just then an Abnu appeared, and handed a paper to the third, who looked at it, and nodded before the Abnu left. The civilian asked, if what you say is true, then why do you wish to kill them? Naruto sighed, and said, how many tailed demons are there, and who is the most powerful one of them? This got everyone's attention, and a civilian said 9, and Kyuubi was the most powerful. You more than anyone should know that. Naruto said, there are actually 10 tailed demons. The last one is a dragon, and he was imprisoned by the other 9 demons, because he wanted to destroy the entire world, and make himself and his followers the only living creature. He is also the most powerful. The reason I want to kill those 2 Uchihas is because Uchiha Madara was responsible for Kyuubi's attack, and he is also the servant of the 10-tailed demon. He wishes to free his master, so to stop him I must kill him before he gets what he needs to do it. Even though I don't have Kyuubi's soul anymore, he may still know of a way to remove Kyuubi's power, so I must not let that happen. Arashi said, son, why don't you tell them why Madara was responsible for the Kyuubi attack, so they know the truth, and also how Madara is still alive. Naruto nodded, and several people agreed with Arashi. Naruto said, to cut a long story short, Uchiha Madara was given the Sharingan by Kyuubi. Kyuubi wanted 100 of Madara descendants. As payment for the Sharingan, he agreed, that's why he attacked. To get his payment. As for how Madara is alive, Kyuubi was no fool, and knew humans could not live long enough to get his 100 sacrifices, so he made it where Madara will live for 1000 years. He has 800 left unless someone kills him, and destroys his body. That's what I plan to do. It will end his quest to free his master, and no other village will have to deal with a tailed demon beside the 3 tails, and the 5 tails. As for Obito, he may have the 1 Sharingan, but because of the they used on him he has lost his mind, and has all the skills of but the mind of a 6-year-old or younger. I just want to give his soul the peace it was denied. The third asks, what do you mean by only having to worry about the 3 tails, and the 5 tails, Naruto? Naruto sighed, and thought, take this you assholes, and said, the rest have already been put in children, and besides my future brother-in-law Gar I have kidnapped, and hidden them with trusted bodyguards, so that they can live as normal a life as they can without having to experience any more of the pain that I had to suffer as a child, as well as protect them from Uchiha Madara. I may have been young, but I still remember everything about what happened to me, and I don't want any of them to suffer like that if I can help it. That's part of the benefits of being a demon vessel. Photographic memory. I remember how some of the people on this fairy council called for my life to be killed the day my father here sealed Kyuubi in me. I have forgiven, but I don't want another innocent child to suffer more than they have to. The other 2 demons are currently hiding, and I don't know where I intend to find them, and incur their wrath. Making several people in the room pale knowing what they did, and he remembered it, and the man they claimed as a hero sitting there looking pissed, and having his son also talk about it, and him being probably one of the strongest in the room. Naruto looked around the room, and thought, yes, vengeance is a dish best served cold. Scorn you little bastards, and feel my pain every time you see me or my father, and fear for your very soul. Ha 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 ha. Yes, Naruto does have an evil side, and his favorite hobby is making the council pay for his pain. Everyone seemed in thought for a few minutes, and Inoichi finally brought the room out of its dreaded thought, as he was not one of the ones who did it, but he also never helped, but Naruto does not hate him, and said, what was the criteria you wanted us to look at for the Sharingan breeding? Naruto said, they need to be tested for elemental affinities. Only those who have fire affinities should be used, anything else, and odds are the Sharingan won't be able to be used by the children, and may also dilute the bloodline. The second thing is they need to come from a family who have a reserve ninja or retired ninja as the parents, so that way they can learn to control it, since Sasuke and Kakashi are the only 2 who will be able to tell them much about it. If they have advanced training like chakra control, and basic ninjutsu, and taijutsu skills, it should help to ensure that the children will be able to use the Sharingans fully when Kakashi or Sasuke teach them. But I think it would also be wise to have a bodyguard present, so Sasuke does not kill them, as he will most likely see his brother in them. Lastly, they should have mental evaluations every 6 months so we can try and solve the secret flaw of all Sharingan users besides Kakashi. This brought the attention of everyone in the room, having never heard of this, and he asked, what do you mean secret flaw, Naruto? Naruto looked at him, and said every Uchiha who has a Sharingan goes through a time anywhere from a few minutes on up to temporary insanity. The only thing that can cure it is the sight of blood from a kill they have made. This brought gasps from everyone, and the third said, Naruto, how can you say that? I never saw any evidence of that in all my time as a Hokage. Naruto looked at him, and said, tell me, Hokage-sama, how many people died in the Uchiha prison by suicide or went missing? The third eye got as big as a silver dollar, and he said, oh my. I had never investigated it, because of the clan's outstanding performance, but probably at least 2 a month was reported, as mysterious deaths or suicides, and a few escapes, that were never captured. If what you said is true then. Naruto nodded, and said that's the secret flaw of the Sharingan. Kyuubi did it, as a joke after the second request from Madara. A way to flaunt power in front of the Hyugas. To get the power you have to kill their best friend, but the side effect is once you activate it, the demon blood from the eye makes you temporarily insane. If we can properly identify the point in the children becoming insane, then we can hopefully cure it. I wonder how long before Sasuke's hits. I imagine Itachi was when he wiped out his clan. Everyone paled, and Itachi quickly said I agree with Naruto's ideas, and they should be administered by them. Now did you get the decision from the ninja Hokage-sama? The third nodded, and said yes, and actually 90% have agreed. The only ones who did not are the ones who have had reports of attacks on Naruto as a child, and those who are ready to retire, but don't think he is ready for it. I say we vote on it now. Everyone voted, and they approved with a 75% vote. The third said Naruto is now Sannin of the Leaf Village. What should his type be? We have a frog and slug, and though Naruto has a snake contract, I don't think he likes that. Naruto thought for a moment, and smirked, and said call me the Fox Sannin. I will be thinking of Kyuubi anyway, and since it seems I got the better of him, I might as well use it. But he thought it is actually my way to pay my respect to you, Kaiu, my friend. Everyone voted, and agreed. He asked Naruto, last night when we were having the clan meetings you displayed an eye bloodline. What is it, may I ask? Naruto said I created it with the knowledge I got from Kyuubi, as a way to put me on even footing with Itachi, Obito, and Madara. It was how I was able to trap Itachi in his own mind, by letting me fight evenly with him in the world of the Sharingan, but it won't be any need for concern, as I will be the only person who has it. I refuse to let my children have it. This brought murmurs in the council, and a civilian asked why won't your children have it? Naruto said simply, I have most of Kyuubi's knowledge, but not all of it, and I refuse to take the risk that I will make a mistake with it, and cause insanity like Kyuubi did with Ichiha's. If only I have it, then if any flaws appear I can fix it, and not worry about it. Unless you want another clan that could one day wipe themselves out or worse the village. Who am I to go against the council, and the Hokage's orders? Several people quickly screamed that's alright, we agree with your decision, Naruto. Getting a smirk from Naruto. He asked what of Haku, the girl who came with you from the wave, Naruto? I hear she has an ice bloodline. Naruto nodded, and said yes she does, but, as I explained to the guards the day I brought her, and her adopted father here. They have the protection of the Kazama clan, and I also give her the right to choose who she has a family with. I talked to her about it, and, as long as she produces 2 children, I would not let the council force her into an arranged marriage or breeding stock. 2 children will be more than enough to start an ice clan in our village. Within 40 years we could have up to 20 members, as soon as one male is born. I believe that the council would agree with that, considering that she is the first ninja in her family. Since the Mist refuses to let bloodlines be ninja after their war with them, she might be able to show other clans from Mist the treatment she gets here, and maybe swing them to her village. I don't believe forcing one clan would be wise if we can get say 10 clans with bloodlines by not forcing it. Making everyone in the room see his point of view. The third looked around the room, and said to Naruto, how the hell are you so damn nature? You have made every person in this room see your point of view on every topic that we have discussed. Naruto looked at him, and the rest of the room, and said simply, I had to develop a strong mental resolve to stop Kyuubi from talking me into removing the paper seal on his cage. This got looks from everyone, and Arashi said, what do you mean by that, Naruto? Naruto smiled, and said simply, if at any time the people of this village hurt me enough to want to give up living, all I had to do was walk up, and remove a simple paper seal that was the contract with the Shinigami, and I would have let Kyuubi free. It's a way for the container to tell if the creature being sealed has paid its crime. It's a good thing I was strong enough to deal with the pressure, or this village would be nothing, but Ash, considering no other parent would have given their child after they saw what this village did to me. Also, it's a good thing the third protected me, or Kyuubi would have been free, and back in less than a year. The sealing was made to last the life of the vessel. If I had not lived long enough to get at least half of his power, he would have been freed. But that's my opinion. And thought score, my little bitches. Everyone paled, and almost everyone was thinking while he talked, we were so fucking lucky by the look on face, or luck may have ran out, shit, we're going to die. The third smirked to himself, as several people squirmed in their seats under the broad look of Naruto, and the killing looks coming from his parents and grandparents. Just then the council chamber doors opened up, and I ran in, and said, Hokage-sama. Uchiha Sasuke has left the village, and killed a guard a few moments ago when he tried to get to his brother. Before anyone had time to react, Naruto disappeared, and reappeared a few moments later in the middle of the room, that had everyone standing, and going toward the door, with Sasuke, who looked confused, as he was launched toward the walls, as nearly the speed of light. And was planted head first into them, making everyone shocked, and wince at the speed he was captured, and his arrival. Flashback. A few moments before, as Sasuke was jumping tree to tree, he was in mid-jump when he felt someone grab him, and by the time he had time to react, he was already back inside the council chambers, and was still traveling at great speed, and hit the wall hard, lodging his head in the wall. Flashback end. As Sasuke pulled his head out of the wall, he turned, and saw Naruto standing in the middle of the room, and everyone else was looking both shocked and pissed. Sasuke said, why the hell was I brought back to this damn village? The third said, for murder and becoming a missing nin. Sasuke said, please, this village won't hurt me, I'm the last Uchiha, and this town kisses my feet and bows before me because my family is royalty. Naruto asked, can I please shut him up? Getting a nod from the other clans, as well as the Hokage. Sasuke snorted and said like you as Naruto disappeared, and then he felt someone hit his neck, and he fell to the floor and passed out. Naruto sighed and said he's alive. I just made him pass out from a pressure point. Everyone was amazed by Naruto's handling of the Uchiha. As Naruto was about to return to his seat, a dog ran in and started barking, and Rin, Naruto, and the dog's master Tsume all burst out laughing, and everyone looked at them, and Rin asked, so when's the wedding? Tsume said if he is still a man, after he gets out of the hospital, I would say after that. With a smile on her face. The third said, what's so funny that it had to interrupt our meeting? Tsume said, apparently Kakashi and my daughter Hana had a little altercation earlier, and he is currently in the hospital having his wounds healed. Kakashi called his summoned dog out to help, and it bit him in the groin after seeing who he was with. He refused to let go unless Kakashi agreed to marry Hana. Kakashi did, and that's what is so funny. Flashback with Kakashi. Kakashi walked to the Inizuka home with Kiba behind him holding a leash around his neck. How you might ask that to happen? Simple. Akamaru grabbed his book and was ready to piss on it, unless he put it on, so here we find Kakashi being led before Hana. Hana smiled and took the leash and said thanks Runt. Now Kakashi, what was this I heard last night about you wanting to go out with me? Kakashi said, I don't know what you're talking about. Hana said, fine, prove it by summoning that dog, and if he agrees with you, I will believe you. Kakashi thought for a moment and summoned Puckin, and Puckin looked at Hana and Kakashi and said, so you're finally going to do it. Kakashi looked at Puckin, shocked, and asked, do what? Puckin jumped up and bit Kakashi in the groin and mumbled, ask her to marry you or I bite harder. I am not your therapist. Kakashi winced in pain and said to Hana, marry me please. Hana smiled at the dog and walked over the removed Kakashi mask and kissed him before biting his neck and said, to show you mean it. No more porn. And grabbed his book and threw it in the air and burned it with a. Kakashi was crying, but if it was from the loss of his book or the dog on his manhunt, who knows. He just shook his head yes, and Puckin let go and said, tell Naruto, thanks, and I want another poker night. I love the back rubs I got from the wolf summons. And left in a puff of smoke. Flashback end. The council laughed at that, and the third said, I call this meeting over, and I have a genin to deal with. As everyone left the room. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.